Here's Verhaeghe, who's stolen it from quite a few guys in black, and he scores! A short-handed goal to complete the hat trick for Carter Verhaeghe, and the Panthers have the lead.
Welcome to Project Panthers, a weekly podcast discussing your Florida Panthers. Now, here's your host, Brunswick.
What a week. I am your host, Brunswick. The show is Project Panthers, and what a week it's been in Panthers territory. If you're listening to us, you've got us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any of your major podcast distributors in today's day and age by searching Project Panthers. You can find us on Twitter at Proj Panthers, that's P-R-O-J Panthers, on Instagram by searching Project Panthers Pod, and now on Facebook by searching Project Panthers. The Cats record currently sits at 22-9-4 as of the time of this recording, sitting third in the NHL's Central Division, dropping a spot once again. No longer looking at home ice advantage in the opening round of the playoffs, unfortunately. But playoffs? Let's not get ahead of ourselves, as it was a challenging week for the Cats. Some difficult injuries to bookend the week, so let's not waste any time. Panthers started the week with 2 games in Chicago. No Barkov in the lineup for this one. For the first one on Tuesday, late scratch with a lower body injury, so Juho Lammikko slides into the fourth line role as Achari replaces Barkov on the top line with Verhaeghe and Duclair. Brett Connolly also back in the lineup for this one, his first game in the month of March. Last played on the 27th of February, and center Eetu Luostarinen was sent to the taxi squad as Vinny Hinostroza gets back in the lineup with Ryan Lomberg sitting in the press box for this one. So lots of lineup changes for the Cats. Bit of an adjustment period with that, and they give up a couple of chances early on. That leads to some real opportunities for the Blackhawks, but they just cannot capitalize. It was generated with speed to the neutral zone again. Brett Connolly gets robbed 2 minutes later on a partial break. It would have been nice to see him get this one so quickly back in the lineup. Set a tone early on in his first game back, but unfortunately just could not finish his chance. Hawks made a cross-ice pass that Gustav Forsling did a really good job of intercepting, but he couldn't quite cradle it. Wenberg went to cover for him on the pinch, but couldn't adjust well to the play. Blackhawks get in on the 2-on-1. Dominik Kubalik finishes the pass, gets it through Drieger's legs. It's a 1-0 lead. Once again, the speed on the wing kills the Panthers against Chicago. Wenberg missed his cover, but they just can't have this happen. Couldn't adjust. Hawks pressed for a bit after that goal, but the Panthers stepped up a bit after that. Duclair and Verhaeghe got some chances. Uyghur got a clear path to the net, but just could not finish it off. Definitely a better second half of the first period than the first half. They really stepped up their play at the 10-minute mark, but just when you think they were going to get into the second period with just down by 1, Zadorov whips a shot towards the net, and rookie Pia Suter, who the Panthers have seen a lot of this season, gets a stick on it. 2-0 Blackhawks lead. Couldn't quite finish it off and end the first period on a positive note, building that momentum. Hawks got a power play a few minutes into the second. Patty Kane does what he does. Finds Carl Soderberg's stick. Easy little tap-in goal for him for his 6th of the season. It's a 3-0 Blackhawks lead. Panthers look totally out of it. But they've come back before. Can they do it again? Maybe not so much without Barkov. A little harder, right? But the Cats do their best. They start generating a couple of chances, but they get a goal back from Strawman. A nice pass from Achari makes it a 3-1 game. A few more chances for the Panthers in the second, but the Blackhawks, they dominated most of this stanza. The gaping hole that Barkov leaves in the lineup is glaring. You can see it a lot on this ice, and with all the lineup changes, the team seems to be having some trouble adjusting in this one. Haven't seen much from Huberdeau at this point either. You would hope that one of your superstars gets hurt. The other ones become a little more visible and imprint themselves on the game a bit more, but unfortunately I have not seen much from Huberdeau through 2 periods in this one. Team comes out with a bit of a spark in the third, though. They generate some chances. They kind of have that fire under their ass that they've had in previous games when they've been down, but just couldn't get it done. Ekblad gets absolutely robbed on a golden opportunity, but Lankinen just gets a piece of it, but enough of it. Patty Kane was a magician in this one. It seemed like every single time he was on the ice, he created something for the Blackhawks offensively. Cats were getting their chances, but they just seemed a bit off. Too many times they hesitated to shoot low shots when you should be shooting high on a goalie like Lankinen, who uses his pads to his advantage and his long legs. They were really lacking in the finishing department on this night. Wenberg ends up getting a goal back with under 5 to go. Makes the game a bit interesting. Makes the scoreline look a little more reasonable, but unfortunately, it's a little too late for the Cats on this one. Lankinen shut the door in the dying seconds as Hornqvist fumbles a puck on a partial break, and that was sort of a microcosm for the Panthers in this one and how the night went for them. Main takeaways after a 3-2 loss. They need to start better. The team did not start playing until the middle of the second period, really. They kind of had a little bit of spark in the first, but it was the middle of the second where they really down 3-0 is when they woke up, and that's been the case a little bit too often this season. Missing Barkov to start the game, I know requires some adjustment, but Chicago had too many chances. The game could have been 6-0 if not some luck and Drieger's play. So you can't expect a miracle comeback every night, and you got to start adjusting to the speed off the wings. I would like to see Coach Q tell his D-men to back up a bit, especially against a team like Chicago that really uses that speed as a main weapon. Too often the Hawks forwards get around the Panthers defense and create chances for themselves. A coaching adjustment could help in solving an issue like that. Next game, again in Chicago on Thursday, another game without Alexander Barkov. And I have to confess, I didn't watch this game as closely as I watch all games this season, actually. As I was celebrating my birthday on this night, so I had some calls coming in and then family giving me calls and jumping on video calls for some well wishes. So the game did not get my full and undivided attention, but I did have it on, and I paid it as much attention as I could. And I did see the Cats pressing a lot. They were creating some chances, but not a ton of high danger opportunities. An MO that seems to be common for the Panthers this season. Get lots of shots, but not a lot of high danger shots. They outshot the Hawks 13-7 in the first, but had nothing to show for it, unfortunately. Little did we know, though, less than 4 minutes into the second period, this game would be out of reach for the Panthers for the rest of the night. Hawks take advantage of a power play when Patty Kane scoops up a loose puck after a kerfuffle in front of the net. Makes it 1-0. Not sure how this one counted, though. Honestly, Soderberg and Hagel were all over Bobrovsky in his crease. I saw Ekblad push Soderberg, so maybe there was some argument that he contributed to some of the physical contact with Bobrovsky, but I was surprised the league didn't take a longer look at this one. They were all over him, and Bob was kind of buried under some players there. Less than 3 minutes later, four Panthers get caught on one side of the ice in the neutral zone, watching the puck, not paying attention. DeBrincat is wide open on the other side of the ice. Takes a shot on the 2-on-1. Bob makes the initial save, but Pia Suter, there again, scores his 10th goal of his rookie season, 2-0 Blackhawks. Can't let that happen. The freeze frame of that goal when all four Cats are on one side of the ice, it's not a good look. Anthony Duclair gets himself a breakaway, as is tradition in almost every Panthers game this year, it seems, and as is tradition, he fails to score on the opportunity. Cats seem to wake up a bit after this, though. They couldn't get anything past Lankinen, but they started to get some chances, and including a 3-on-0 rush that barely registered a shot when Huberdeau tried to deke Lankinen and tried to stuff it in, but didn't really get much of an opportunity. Panthers outshot the Hawks 17-9 in the second, and after two, had a 30-16 shot advantage, but trailed 2-0. So again, a lot of chances, lots of shots, but not a lot of high-quality chances. Panthers continued to press in the third, but they could not get anything done. Hornqvist took a huge hit from every Panthers fan's favorite defenseman, Nikita Zadorov. The hit was clean, in my opinion. Horny just did not have his head up, and he got caught. And Zadorov just laid into him. The slow-mo of Hornqvist's body reacting and to the impact of hitting Zadorov, he stopped on a dime. It was tough to see. Looks like Hornqvist will miss a week because of that hit. Fast forward to the last 90 seconds, and unfortunately, guys like Hinestroza are out there. Panthers are down 2-0 with an empty net, and how do you expect this to go? Hagel scores the empty netter. Hawks win 3-0. Just about what I expected from them on this night. Really disappointing, but losing Barkov is tough. I wanted to see some more from this team again. Main takeaways, once again, where was Huberdeau in this game? I saw a lot of his fancy passes, little to no positive impact on the night. He finished the team on a team worst -2, and he's done nothing to show that he's a superstar that can take this team to another level the way Barkov does. It's a small sample size. It's only been a few games, and maybe I'm expecting too much from him. But if he expects to get paid like one of the league's best players, then he needs to play like one of the league's best players. This stretch without Barkov has made me question just how much Huberdeau actually brings to this team, or if his offensive numbers help him get a pass in other facets of his game where he may struggle or not contribute the way he should. Also just need more high-quality chances. So many perimeter shots, just not willing to get into the dirty areas and work for a nasty goal. When you're missing that high-end skill that Barkov brings to the table, you just need to adjust a little and work a little harder, get pucks in the net. I didn't see that from them in this one. Everyone seemed to be doing their best Yandel impression from the looks of it. Saturday night in Dallas, Barkov still out of the lineup. No Patty Hornquist, as mentioned earlier. He's been placed in the IR. He's out at least a week, so Riley Stillman gets into the lineup for the first time since the season opener. Q plots his seventh defenseman on the fourth line spot on the wing, maybe hoping to get some similar magic with Stillman that he had with Mark Pysyk last season on the fourth line. So Carter Verhaeghe, Cardi V, I am going to be petitioning this nickname moving forward. I think Carter Verhaeghe is a bit of a mouthful to say. Also, the spelling can be quite tricky when you're typing quickly on Twitter or in chat. I think Cardi V is the name to go with going forward. I mean, Cardi B is a big superstar in music right now. It kind of plays on the whole swagger thing. You know, this is my way of justifying this nickname. I think Cardi V is what I'm going to go with moving forward. And Cardi V opens the scoring 24 seconds into this one after a great effort from Noel Achari. Snipes a shot short side on Khudobin for his 13th goal of the season. Cats start quickly. Very nice to see. Game's pace is a bit slow to start, though. Only a few shots in the first 10 minutes for each team. Dallas puts some pressure on about halfway through the first, though. Cats get caught after another weak, failed clearing attempt. Guryanov wins the battle up front and taps in a pass from Jamie Benn to tie it up. Gudis' clear wasn't strong enough, and Owen Tippett misread it. Allowed the Stars to keep it in, and went in. Can't have these soft clearing attempts happen. You got to be strong on the puck. You got to have your head up, and if there's a guy on the boards playing and adjusting and being there for support like Tippett was in the situation for Gudis, I think it's important for Gudis to take that extra second, pick up his head and look at Tippett and find him, because I think everything would have played out very differently if Tippett had the puck at the hash marks and was able to bank it off the boards and get it out. Right? Stars continue to press. Less than 2 minutes later, after Guryanov's goal to tie it, John Klingberg finishes a one-timer after a relentless stream of attack from the Stars. Panthers kind of look like they're spiraling after this. Just not skating with any coherence, any sequence as a team. Barkov looks like he is severely missed at this point. Dallas continues to lay it on, but Panthers manage to weather a little bit, and Radko Gudas actually draws a penalty. So Power Play Unit 2 gets on the ice for their typical 30-second opportunity after the first unit passes it around for about 90 seconds. And wouldn't you know it, Owen Tippett puts his head down, rips a shot on net, and Cardi V is there for his second goal of the period to tie the game. That's Verhaeghe's first non-even strength goal of the season. Do you see what happens when you keep it simple on the power play and just get pucks to the net? Who would have thought, right? Only been praising that and preaching that for weeks on end on this show. Cats get a good run in the second period. They're skating better. They're creating some chances, but Dallas is pretty strong defensively, and they're not really giving them that much. Stars get a late power play, but it's the Panthers who take advantage. Verhaeghe getting some more ice time on the penalty kill with Barkov out of the lineup, and he makes the most of his opportunity as he steals the puck from Miro Heiskanen and rips one top shelf over Khudobin's glove side for his third of the game. Scored the goal on a 1-on-3 opportunity. This is his second career hat trick. Cats lead 3-2. What a game from Cardi V. He's been all the team's offense up to this point. It's Cardi V 3, Stars 2 going into the third period. Dallas comes back in the third and ties it up 3 minutes in, though, off a redirection from L'Esperance. This was one I feel Bob should have had. This redirection happened over 20 feet from the net. Bob overcommitted to the shot. He thought it was coming from Hanley, and it allowed L'Esperance to redirect the slap pass into the net before Bob could adjust and get into proper position. This play started on yet another weak clearing attempt, this time by Uyghur, choosing to rush and force a backhand up the boards with 3 Dallas Stars on the boards to block the pass. He didn't take a second to look at his options and forced it, and this is the resulting play. I think this was a series of mistakes. Bob should have had it. Uyghur shouldn't have made that play. Not a great goal to give up to start the third in a game where scoring is not going to be that easy when one guy's providing most of or all of the offense. But this goal really woke up the Stars, and they took advantage, and they took control for most of the remainder of the period. Bob seemed to be battling pucks the whole time, though. He was losing it in his glove, dropping them. Pucks were rolling by him past the net. Thankfully, none of them rolled into the net, but there was a lot of weird shots that seemed to have rebounds that maybe shouldn't have had rebounds. Teams finished the game tied at 2, or finished after 60 minutes tied at 3. No Barkov is a big deal for the Panthers in OT, as he logs most of the 5 minutes for the Cats. So I was really interested to see how the team would look going into the extra stanza. After the teams exchanged some chances, as you do in overtime, Vetrano Ekblad came down the ice on a 2-on-1. Vetrano finds Ek and boom, finishes it off. 4-3 Panthers win. Huge win for the Panthers. They break the 3-game losing streak and get the 2 points against the Wait a minute. What, they're reviewing it? They're reviewing if Ekblad is offside? He was offside. Well, hell dilly ding dong crap. The goal gets called back. The teams have to get back on the ice, play the final 48 seconds of OT. Bob makes a couple of gigantic saves, including a monstrous blocker save on Heiskanen. Panthers rush up ice. Verhaeghe finds a streaking Huberdeau, who before this moment was basically non-existent in this game. He finds Ekblad, who's onside this time, sauces a beauty over to him. Ekblad gets on the backhand, beats Khudobin with a nice little move. With 9 seconds left, this time it counts, wins it in OT. Panthers break the losing streak. 4-3, it's over. Main takeaway from this one, great resilience shown coming back and scoring just seconds after getting a game winner called back. This was such a great moment for this team. It can be really demoralizing to get a goal like that called back, especially an overtime winner, because your adrenaline is so high after you win an OT. Everyone is so pumped, especially Ekblad, the guy who scores the goal. So it can be difficult to come down off of that adrenaline and get back into game mode. So props to these guys for, putting their heads down and just focusing on the task at hand and getting it done less than 40 seconds later. Bob made that incredible save, but I got to give it to Ekblad for finishing that chance again and not getting discouraged. Well done by this team. That's a huge win for this one going into Sunday against Dallas. And on Sunday, the Panthers were once again without the services of El Capitano Alexander Barkov for the 4th straight game. They started this one with a power play about a minute into it. Got some decent chances. They were moving the puck pretty well. Connolly had the best opportunity of them all, but failed to capitalize again on an early scoring chance in the game, just like in Chicago earlier this week. Stars got a power play not long after, but they capitalized and scored 13 seconds into the power play opportunity. Pass off the boards, deflected off of Gudis' stick, and slid right past Drieger. Just a weird, fluky goal to start the game. Huberdeau says, though. 31 seconds later, he gets the puck off the boards, walks right in on Ettinger, and snipes it top cheese to tie the game. Huberdeau's 12th of the season. Nice to see him step up and get one back for the team so quickly, especially after the last couple of games that were disappointing for him. So, really good to see. Anthony Duclair continues his tradition of not scoring on a breakaway in this one, but the refs decide to award him with a penalty shot this time as he gets hacked from behind when he was taking the shot. And on the penalty shot, Duclair makes good. Makes a count. Dekes one past Ettinger on the blocker side. 2-0 Panthers lead. Really impressive start for these Cats without Barkov and Hornqvist. So you love to see that. Real turnaround from this team. A little bit of confidence boost after the 4-3 win the night before. Panthers keep it going. At one point they were shooting the Stars 9-2. They don't stop, and they manage to draw their 3rd power play of the period. First unit sets up. Huberdeau wastes no time this time around and scores his 2nd of the game, 2nd of the period. Huberdeau looks like a completely different player in this game, finally stepping up and doing what a lot of us expected him to do in the absence of Barkov. 3-1 Panthers now. So Wenberg also did a really good job on this goal. He played the role of Patty Hornqvist and screened Ettinger and allowed Huberdeau to walk in and basically place that shot exactly where he wanted it to. It was Huberdeau's 17th power play point of the season. That's good for 6th in the NHL as of the time of this recording. Panthers kept the pressure on for the remainder of the period as the Stars started getting a little chippy in the last minute, getting frustrated by their 2-goal deficit, but nothing really came of that. And Panthers take the lead 3-1 into the second period. Not often this team takes a 3-1 lead after one. So nice to see from the Panthers, a little change of pace for them. See how they can do holding on to it. Cats can't match Dallas's effort to start the period, though, as the Stars started generating a lot of traffic and action in front of the net. But Driedger was up to the task. He was making a lot of big saves in the start of the second period, but then it was a nightmare scenario. The puck gets into the Panthers zone. Aaron Ekblad goes to clear the puck, loses his footing a bit after he bounces off against the boards. His left leg digs into the ice as he lands, and he twists his knee and ankle very, very severely. He drops to the paint immediately. Plays called, and the trainers rush to his attention. You could see Ekblad writhing in pain. It was tough to watch. They showed him on the Fox Sports Florida feed. It was really tough to see a guy that big and dominant on the ice brought to such pain. It's difficult to watch. They brought the stretcher out, and after caring for Ekblad's leg and making sure it's all secure, they got him on the stretcher and off the ice. The injury looks pretty severe, though. As of right now, we don't know what it is. I haven't seen any reports, but I think Ekblad will be out for a very long time. To be honest, I don't expect him to be back until next season at the earliest. Maybe he's fortunate and it was just a really, really bad twist or something, but the amount of pain that he was in when it happened, it's tough for me to think that this is going to be a minor injury or a month type of deal. This seems like it might require surgery. But again, I am very far from a medical professional, and anyone who knows anything concrete or knowledgeable about that sort of stuff. I am not a doctor by any means, so please take my opinion with a grain of salt. I just think in the years I've watched hockey, when you see a guy react like that to an injury, it's usually pretty bad. So let's hope for a speedy recovery and hope that he's doing okay, because team needs him, and he's had a great season so far. So nothing but the best and hopes and well wishes for Aaron Ekblad right now. The rest of the game was fairly uneventful. Panthers were unable to generate much offensively. They only had a few shots on goal actually after Ekblad's injury, and he left the game. Driedger stood tall though. He really stayed in the game. He kept his game in the game. Really held the lead for the Panthers. Without his play in this one, they likely would have given up the lead. And with how they were playing and how uninspired they looked, honestly, I don't blame them. Just the way their body language was, I don't think they would have had a chance to weather the storm if the Stars kept it coming. Tippett gets an empty netter. Huberdeau nets his third point of the night on the assist. Nice win by the Panthers, all things considered. Main takeaway in this one is just losing Aaron Ekblad. It's really tough. We will see how this team will bounce back, but it's going to be really tough without him. It's going to be really, really difficult to replace, but hopefully the emergence of Mackenzie Weegar helps the team stay near the level they were and they have been with Ekblad in the lineup. So we'll see what these guys are made of, right? Now it's on to the world-famous segment of Project Panthers. Yes, the world-famous segment of 2 points in the NHL. If you want to make the playoffs, you need to get the 2 points at the end of the night. So it's time to bring up 2 points from this week that I feel were a key on the Panthers' successes. 2 points. 2 points. 2 points. All right, point number one. I got to talk about Noel Acciari. In the 4 games Barkov has been absent, he's averaging almost 20 minutes a night. He's got 4 assists. He's a +3. He's won over 55% of his faceoffs. He's stepped up big in place of Barkov. He's taken on a bigger role, and he's already got a big role with the team. Quentinville loves Acciari, puts a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, but he's stepped up even more than he's needed to already. Having a guy like Acciari on your team that will impose his will on a game is so valuable to have. So props to Noel for being a key piece and trying to generate offense for this team when they were a bit discombobulated without Barkov to start the week. He's really done a great job stepping in, being a key player. Point number 2 goes to Carter Verhaeghe. Cardi V, baby. Cardi V. Speaking of stepping up, Cardi V almost single-handedly won the game for the Panthers on Saturday. Scored his second career hat-trick, finished with 4 points and a career-high 24 minutes and 8 seconds of ice time. This was the best performance from a Panther all week. This was a statement game for Cardi V, proving that he isn't just a product of playing on Barkov's wing and can play at an elite level all on his own. He's blossomed into an incredible player for this team in such a short amount of time. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Zito has hit a absolute boom dinger of a home run here. Great to see Carter V continue his success, even without Barkov. So you can send your questions into Project Panthers by emailing us at projectpantherspod@gmail.com. That's projectpantherspod@gmail.com. This week's question comes from Joey in Clearwater, Florida. He asks, does Chris Driedger deserve more starts? He's got better stats than Bob. Shouldn't he get more playing time? First, thanks for listening and sending in your question, Joey. The Driedger situation is tricky. The team's got a lot more of a long-term commitment to Bob. They are kind of stuck, so to speak, with this contract. Franchise needs him to perform, or they need him to perform as close to or up to the level of his contract that he can. Driedger's numbers are better right now, and it's a smaller sample size, but he's had more success in the Panthers uniform than Bob has. Bob is undeniably having a better season this year, so I feel like Q is doing his best to get his big-name goaltender back to playing like a big-name goaltender. Driedger's success is honestly just a bonus right now for this team, I think, and as he likely isn't in the team's long-term plans. Now, is that the right move? I'm not sure. I'm not saying it is. But right now, Bob's contract isn't going anywhere. If Spencer Knight comes up in a year or two, where does that leave Chris Driedger? He may look to capitalize on his good numbers and go elsewhere for more term and money than Florida and than the Panthers would be willing to offer. If they only want to give him a 1 or 2 year deal, maybe he wants a 4 or 5 year deal with a little bit more money. We'll see how it plays out. Either way, Driedger's been fantastic. Really love to see the success he's had in the Panthers uniform, and he's a great story as well. So you love to see it. That's it for me this week, friends. Very challenging week for the Panthers with the injuries to Barkov, Hornqvist, and now Ekblad. 3 very, very big pieces in this team's turnaround this season. Cats are back home for 4 straight starting on Tuesday, where they'll finish up their March games against the Red Wings. We'll see if Barkov is back at that point, but by then we should have a better idea of how long the team's going to be without defenseman Aaron Ekblad. Once again, I am Brunswick. Thank you so much for listening to Project Panthers. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts by searching Project Panthers, on Twitter at Proj Panthers, that's PROJ Panthers, on Instagram by searching Project Panthers Pod, and now on Facebook by searching Project Panthers. Thanks so much for tuning in, and have a week.